The ayes to the right, 321. The noes to the left, 278.
The ayes to the right, 321. The noes to the left, 278. So the ayes have it. The ayes have it. Unlock. Point of order, the Prime Minister.
On point of order, Mr. Speaker, the House has today provided a clear majority against leaving without a deal. However, I will repeat what I have said before.
The House must calm itself. Long time to go. Today, subsequent days. Keep calm. That's just the Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, these are about the choices that this House faces. The legal default in UK and EU law remains that the UK will leave the EU without a deal unless something else is agreed. The onus is now on every one of us in this House to find out what that is. The options before us are the same as they always have been. We could leave with the deal which this government has negotiated over the past 2 years. We could leave with the deal we have negotiated but subject to a second referendum, but that would risk no Brexit at all. Damaging the fragile trust between the British public damaging the fragile trust between the British public and the members of this House. We could seek to negotiate a different deal. However, the EU has been clear that the deal on the table is indeed the only deal available. Mr. Speaker, I also confirmed last night...
Order. The great likelihood, I await further comment, but I think I can say this without fear of contradiction, is that there will be further opportunities for these matters to be debated. But in the immediate term, please, let us have some courtesy. Of that, I think we can be sure. There will be further debate on these matters. The Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, I also confirmed last night that if the House declined to approve leaving without a deal on the 29th of March 2019, the government would bring forward a motion on whether the House supports seeking to agree an extension to Article 50 with the EU, which is the logical consequence of the votes over the past 2 days in this House. The Leader of the House will shortly make an emergency business statement confirming the change to tomorrow's business. The motion we will table will set out the fundamental choice facing this House. If the House finds a way in the coming days to support a deal, it would allow the government to seek a short, limited technical extension to Article 50 to provide time to pass the necessary legislation and ratify the agreement we have reached with the EU. But let me be clear, such a short technical extension is only likely to be on offer if we have a deal in place. Therefore, the House has to understand and accept that if it is not willing to support a deal in the coming days, and as it is not willing to support leaving without a deal on the 29th of March, then it is suggesting that there will need to be a much longer extension to Article 50. Such an extension would undoubtedly require the United Kingdom to hold European Parliament elections in May 2019. I do not think that would be the right outcome. But the House needs to face up to the consequences of the decisions it has taken.
I thank the Prime Minister for what she said. Point of order, Mr. Jeremy Corbyn.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, tonight this House has once again definitely ruled out no deal. The Prime Minister said the choice was between her deal and no deal. In the last 24 hours, Parliament has decisively rejected both her deal and no deal. While an extension of Article 50 is now inevitable, the responsibility of that extension lies solely and squarely at the Prime Minister's door. But, Mr. Speaker, extending Article 50 without a clear objective is not a solution. Parliament must now take control of the situation. In the days that follow, Mr. Speaker, myself, the Shadow Brexit Secretary and others will have meetings with members across the House to find a compromise solution that can command support in the House. This means, Mr. Speaker, doing what the Prime Minister failed to do 2 years ago in searching for a consensus on the way forward. Labour has set out a credible alternative plan. Honourable members across this House are coming forward with proposals, whether that's for a permanent customs union, a public vote, Norway Plus, or other ideas. Let us, as a House of Commons, work now to find a solution to deal with the crisis facing this country and the deep concerns that many people have for their livelihood, for their lives, their future, their jobs, their communities and their factories. It's up to us as the House of Commons to look for and find a solution to their concerns. That is what we were elected to do.
Point of order, Mr. Ian Blackford.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Let's be in no doubt that we are in a constitutional crisis. And we're in a constitutional crisis at the making of the Prime Minister that has run down the Brexit clock. And what we see from the Prime Minister is a denial of the facts, that she's faced two enormous defeats on her meaningful vote. Her deal is dead. And I am delighted that the House of Commons tonight is given a very clear expression that this House, under no circumstances, on no time limit, wants no deal. And what the Prime Minister should have done this evening is come to the dispatch box with a degree of humility, accept that she has failed, and to immediately put in place the legislation to withdraw from legislation the threat of us leaving the European Union on the 29th of March. Why has the Prime Minister not done that? What this House needs to do tomorrow is to take control of that process. We don't need a time-limited extension to Article 50. It must be open-ended, and I, for one, welcome elections to the European Parliament. But we now, Mr. Speaker, must move on and have a meaningful debate about a people's vote. And yes, if necessary, we have to look at the revocation of Article 50. But let me say this to the Prime Minister. I repeat again that Scotland will not be dragged out of the European Union against its will, and everything which has gone on in this House is a determination that the best interest of the people of Scotland will be as an independent European nation.